Good evening, everybody. It's Friday night. It's Tin Top night as we're here for the first live round of the virtual circuit racing BTCC season, and it's round 3 at Norfolk's very famed Snetterton 300 circuit. You join myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and James Parfitt in the booth for you throughout the majority of this wonderful calendar we've got on the cards here. And James, Snetterton, a very flat circuit, just under 3 miles. It's been around for a very, very long time. Current variation in use since 2011, and we've got some very competitive drivers and a variety of current modern-day tin-top machinery to wow us over both qualifying and the race tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where we're going to sit back and enjoy this one now as well. Cars representative of the BTCC will say now there is no hybrid. The drivers have been warned that they cannot. The hybrid system is still there in the game itself, but they are not allowed to use it. Anybody that gets caught using the hybrid system will be disqualified. This will be removed and sorted out for round number 4. But Snetterton itself, now we've been here before, we've done the 200 layout, we've done lots of other different layouts of this as well, but we're on the full 300 layout, which does include the inside. Okay, so this is a direct 90 degree at Montreal. It does include Palmer, Agostini, Hamilton and Oggies before we go running back out into Williams again. So this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. Makes, well, we've got pretty much them all. BMW, Ford Focus, Cupra Leon, Hyundai i30, Toyota Corollas are here as well. And a Vauxhall, and the only one that is missing, I should say, is the Vauxhall Astra. But we've got everything else. And this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. We know BTCC, Alex, we watch it, we've seen it, we've been there, watched it live. And this is where it's all going to stem from. The little bit of door banging, a little bit of argy-bargy, bumpy. It's going to be all here. And this is what I'm really looking forward to for this.
Yeah, and we've got the fastest circuit in the United Kingdom coming up next week on June 20th, where we'll head to Thruxton, then 27th of June, Alton International, Silverstone GP, 4th of July. The penultimate round goes to the Garden of England, another famed track that the BTCC is known for, the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. And I've heard rumblings of what the final round might be. It might be a little bit off of UK shores, but it's a TBD according to the calendar information that we've got. However, it is going to be a 20-minute qualifying session, and then we're going to go into a 12-lap race. So it's a one-shot, one opportunity on every single race. Now, we've got driver standings and team standings coming into this third round of the season. They've already been at Croft. They've already been at Donington National. Jake Hewlett, a man we know very well through our friends at ST150, is leading the standings. He's on 84 points at Haythwaite, and Ben Hayes are on 65 and 57. Area Motorsport is a team I know very well from the days of my venture into the TCR UK paddock. Luke Woodhouse rounds out the top 4 ahead of Chris McIntosh. Trafford King, if that is his actual name, currently leading free practice on a 151.593. Due to have 14 competitors, as the checkered will be out for this 20-minute session. Of course, yes, Snetterton 300, as I already alluded to, JP. Very, very flat. Apart from the significant undulation that you get going from Brundle to Coram via Nelson and the bomb hole, that is going to be where we've seen a couple of drivers go a little bit oversteery. Let's say the Focus ST. The Focus ST of Ben Hayes and Chris McIntosh have been able to initiate the Stig Blomqvist Scandinavian flick, which is where you really turn it in. And Ben Hayes running in the Napa livery of Dan Camish, one of the current drivers in the Napa squad, along with a man who is gunning for, there you see, he's trying his best Jim Carter impersonation going into Wilson's. But that did not quite go to plan. But yeah, I mean, we've got the BMWs known for their traction off the line. We've got the Hyundai i30 Fastback, which is being used currently this season by the likes of Tom Ingram, Tom Chilton, Adam Morgan and Michael Crees. Focus STs used by Ash Sutton, Sam Osborne, Dan Camish. The 330Es being used by the likes of now Aidan Moffat, Jake Hill. You've got the Corolla GR Sport with the likes of Rob Huff. I think also Josh Cook now running in one of those this year. The Cupra Leon has got the likes of Nick Hamilton, younger brother of 7-time F1 champion Lewis Hamilton. So we've got a good representation of BTCC machinery on the grid. But this circuit, really, they've got to be on their P's and Q's with regards to these qualifying laps, because it will decide the grid for this race.
Yeah, that's the thing. They've got to make sure they can get this right. Now, if I'm reading that right, Alicia is in YouTube chat. Jake is actually playing from Croft Circuit. Now, I did see earlier on that is where Jake is at the moment. I believe he's at Croft getting ready for the weekend of racing, if I'm not mistaken, unless I've just completely read what I read wrong earlier on, of course. But he is apparently using one of the sims there and he's tethered it off his phone. So that's a real dedicated man's man, where we had Chris McIntosh earlier on moaning a little bit about the fact that he had man flu and wasn't going to drive, but I managed to persuade him to drive with a little bit of a gift battle we had earlier on as well. Like, get on with it, pull up your big boy pants, Chris. And then he was, then he come back, and then he has actually joined the session. So Chris there did join the session with his man flu as well. So yeah, very interesting to see the fact how Hewlett gets on here. I'm really looking forward to seeing what sort of reception gets. I guess I don't really know what it's like up at Croft.
Yeah, well, at the moment, this weekend it's going to be the Bark TCR race meeting. So TCR UK, Miltech Sports Civic Cup, the Junior Saloon Car Championship, Track Action Racing Club, and the P4 Emergency Lighting Caterham Graduates Championship. So, Jake Hewlett, you are a brave man tethering that sim to your phone. But at least you're in a stable area, I'm hoping. But that just does go to show that there is dedication, as we are hopefully just a few moments away from getting the 20-minute qualifying session underway. This circuit at 12 turns in use in its current variation since 2011, 2.969 miles, and a lot of opportunities for overtaking, especially coming out of Coram and then into the Senna straight, which is the main start-finish straight. Of course, Ayrton Senna, in his early days in his single-seater career over funny enough, in the UK, when he was battling the likes of Martin Brundle back in the F3000 days, was not actually based not too far outside of Snetterton in those early formative years for the Brazilian, who went on to become a 3-time Formula One world champion. But then, of course, Wilson, corner 2, named after the late IndyCar racer and ex-F1 driver Justin Wilson, who he lost over a decade ago. So, but then you look at the names, you've got Agostini, Hamilton, Williams, Brundle, Nelson, Senna, all names associated with this circuit. It is going to provide a fantastic spectacle here, so a big thank you for everyone that has joined us on the JP Broadcasting Network, where we will be broadcasting the rest of the calendar as it's green light at the end of the pit lane, as there's a flurry of activity. Drivers now heading out onto circuit to contest the 20-minute qualifying session. So this is going to give the opportunity the drivers to get used to the evolution of the circuit as it rubbers in, as we will hopefully have all the liveries updated ready for round 4 next time out next week at Thruxton, and that is going to be an absolute roller coaster ride. It's known as the fastest circuit in the United Kingdom. I've been there a couple of times to see BTCC action and more besides, and it is very, very harrowing when you hear these BTCC cars go round church at about 140 plus miles an hour. So it's now about getting the temperature into the tyres and the brakes, and get all your weapons sharpened, ready for the assault here in qualifying.
Yes, I was there last year with Mr. Craig Jones watching the touring car at Thruxton here as well. We were going to go this year, but unfortunately it clashes with a weekend I'm at Santapod, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to get there, but I am seeing the wonderful Mr. Jones tomorrow, so that should be quite interesting. But yes, Thruxton is going to be absolutely epic, and I'm really looking forward to that one and seeing how these guys get on here as well. Qualifying's going to be interesting, all out on track at the same time. They've got to just make sure they're trying to find space, and I say that in a realistic term because they do want to try and find space if they can, but this is going to be a very, very interesting qualifying session, I'm sure.
Yeah, so there's Ben Gibbons in one of the Hyundai i30N fastbacks, so more of a saloon variant of the high-performance car, no longer built by Hyundai, but Ben's already gone off, and that was going through out of Nelson, so he's mowing the grass quite significantly. That's not going to help the air intake of that Hyundai as he rejoins the circuit, going through into the bomb hole and then into Coram. That just goes to show how ultra committed you need to be, but it's very difficult when you're coming down from Williams into Brundle. You've got to be hard on the anchors. You've got to turn it left, turn it right, as somebody else has decided to going off at Murray's, which is the final corner, and then they accelerate hard in towards the sweeping right-hander here at Riches, just waiting for the first couple of benchmarks to come in. Best lap so far, Haythwaite in the BMW 330, puts in a 2-minute .594. It was Trafford King who was in the I-151s in free practice earlier on, but they had about 50 so minutes of practice, and that's going to be a case in point seeing Ben Gibbons just having a little bit of a lock-up going into Wilson's. You don't want to lock up there, and you don't want to throw it around the outside there as well, unless you're trying for the crisscross.
Now, I spent some of my day yesterday driving these wonderful machines, okay? And I can safely tell you now that coming through Coram and down into Murray's is blinking difficult, right?
Yeah.
I think out of about 15 laps I did in one car, I think I only nailed that corner about twice. Other than that, I was in the grass. Now, I'm expecting these guys to do a lot better than I did. The car, believe it or not, that suited me the most was the Cupra Leon. I don't know why. It was the one I got on with and set the fastest time with. The worst one, believe it or not, because I thought, I'm going to go and do it because, I can and, I'm going to be Ash Sutton in the Ford Focus, was my worst one. I couldn't get that blinking car to do what I wanted it to do whatsoever. And it was an absolute nightmare. So I gave up in the end, but it was the Cupra Leon that did me the most. Don't get me wrong. I was doing round about the 155s, 56 marks. I wasn't, by any means in the 152s that we've got going on at the moment. So it was going to be very, very interesting as well to see what goes on here. But that corner there, oh my God, it was difficult.
Yeah, I think the car that I tend to prefer when it comes to BTCC, I tend to favour the BMW. Just because of the fact that I prefer a car that has rear-wheel drive and you can turn it in. So you haven't got all of that torque steer going through the front axle like a lot of the cars here are the front-wheel drives. I mean, Trafford King and Haythwaite at the moment are within 0.2 of a second of each other. Trafford King with the fastest lap in qualifying with 5 minutes completed so far. A 1:52.178. Haythwaite in the second of the BMWs, 52.3. Jake Hewlett, a man we know, we've commentated on him before, running in the Cupra Leon Competition, a 1:52.881. That is the highest place of the front-wheel drive cars. So we've only got 2 BMWs on the grid, but at the moment they're being able to use that rear-wheel drive to their absolute limit. But also on the start, we know that the 330s are always a rocket ship the minute you let them off the line and let them loose.
Yeah, that's the thing. They've got to be mindful of what's going to happen in and around them here. I think that's the thing. It's the first couple of times go over the board, 51.923 from Haythwaite. Then King on a 52.178. Hewlett at the moment, 52.881 in his machine there. and then Hayes is further back in 4th, of course. So the times are starting to come through, which is great for us because it means the timing tower pops up, which is awesome. Woodhouse is there as well. He's a little bit further back at the moment on a 53.488. So generally, by what I did on practice yesterday, I would be in and around 9th and 10th place. So there you go.
Well, we've had a few dramas. Justin Kirk and Danny Hurst have both gone off and either had contact with each other and had contact with the barriers. Improvement from Jake Hewlett, 152.2. So Haythwaite at the moment, 151.923. And there is Chris McIntosh in the second of the Ford Focuses. I think you scared Daryl Moss a little bit from Dragon Motorsport. He said, "Oh no, the Focus, that's my motor of choice for this championship." Well, don't, it's
take my word for it, mate. I suck.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. That don't take James's word for it, Lord Moss Gaming, or Daryl, I think it is, because you're the one that's going to. If you've made the choice for this car, if you've enjoyed driving it, just don't worry about what James has said. James has said it didn't work for him, but we're seeing a lot of locking up now, going into Brundle from the back straightaway. And that just goes to show how hard it is to get that complex through Brundle, Nelson and the bomb hole before you go through Coram. We're on board with Trafford King, who hasn't made any improvement. He's had a very, very difficult opening 2 sectors.
That is hard.
Whereas it is incredibly hard, especially that last sector, because it's a very, very short one. Jake Hewlett trying to improve at the moment. Not a great first sector for the man in the Cupra Leon, but he's still doing a very, very good job. Look at the way he just flings it through Burries. It's like the back end just wants to go drifting styly, and he throws it out the final corner. He's got one of the Toyota Corollas not too far behind. You've got Matthew Addy and Justin Kirk in the Corollas, but the Hyundai i30N Fastback seems to be the weapon of choice for 5 drivers. Danny Hurst is the only one in the Honda Civic Type R, the FK8 variety, as Jake Hewlett pulls into pit lane. So does Trafford King. So this is going to give them an opportunity maybe to put a fresh set of boots on those cars and a little bit of fuel and get them ready to go out for a second qualifying run, because the track is going to continue evolving here, JP.
Yeah, it definitely will, and it's going to get faster and faster and faster. And if we jump on board here with Haythwaite, this section killed me. This last run through here killed me, because it wasn't coming into this corner, it was downshifting, braking, rotating the car. Couldn't do all 3. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I know they say men don't multitask. I could not get that right. There was puffs of smoke coming out of my wheels in like a blinking Thomas the Tank Engine cartoon, I can tell you that much. Then coming round here was just absolutely bonkers, because my braking point varied depending on how good an exit I'd had at the last one. So I was very up and down, and it was just a big mix of being able to get these machines turned, and that's the thing. At the end of the day, you've got to do what's more comfortable for you. I went out and tested each car to see which one I was more comfortable with. As I said, it was the Cupra Leon that was the one that suited me the most. But Lord Moss might go out and he might test all of them, and it might be the BMW. So, whatever suits your driver style. I'm very heavy-footed. I like braking late, which doesn't do me any favours, especially going into Brundle and Coram and Murray's, because the grass was there and it quite happily chewed me up. So you've got to just find what works for you, dude. And I think that's the thing. If the Focus is it, go and do it. See what goes on.
So we're halfway through this qualifying session. Jack A8952 has found the meme of Hocus Pocus says pizza on your Focus. Oh, I remember that video on Instagram, where like literally someone throws a slice of pepperoni pizza onto the windscreen of someone's Ford Focus underneath, which got a bit of a giggle from the local viewers. But Haythwaite's still leading on a 151.746. The only driver to get into the sub 152s. Trafford King and Jake Hewlett split by 1/4 of a tenth of a second. 152.178 plays 152.203. Ben Hayes in the leading Focus, a 153.108, and then it's Dave Price in a 153.2 in the second of the Cupra Leons. Lee Southall leads the Hyundai Charge in 6th. on a 1:53.4. Luke Woodhouse, not that far behind him, 69 thousandths of a second. Chris McIntosh in 8th. Matthew Addy and Justin Kirk in the 2 Toyota Corolla GR Sports. Round out your top 10. Bosey, Alex J, Danny Hurst, Ben Gibbons round out the top 14. Ryan Turner yet to set a lap in his Ford Focus, as Haythwaite has just gone quicker. 1:51.587, and it was that opening sector where he muscled and manhandled that BMW 330 EM Sport around the circuit here at Snet.
Yeah, great job from these guys as well. As I say, these are a lot better than I was doing. Let's just put it that way. And I think some of this racing's going to be amazing. You know, we've seen Hewlett dominate series, and I don't think he's going to have it all his home way here. I think Haythwaite is going to give him some grief. I think King's going to give him some grief as well. And I think Hewlett's going to have to buckle down. Yes, we know he's on an unfamiliar rig and he's sitting in a racing circuit and he's tethered it to his phone, but don't make excuses. You know what I mean? It's all about what he can do. And at the end of the day, I think these guys are going to do an exceptional job.
Yeah, so coming up to the last 7.5 minutes, and well, we're waiting for Haythwaite to break the first timing beam, which is going to be coming out of the right-hander at Williams, which brings them onto the back straightaway, and that is where he is really making some good inroads. But on this particular occasion, did not make an improvement in the opening first long sector. And then sector 2, he's going to be breaking the timing beam for that, and that's going to be coming out of Murray's. And then you've got the short run up to the start-finish line here on the centre straight. So Haythwaite through into Murray's corner, flicks the car left, crosses the timing beam. Not an improvement there. Jake Hewlett trying to improve, but his last lap was a 1:55.383. There's still time for drivers to improve, but this is where you're seeing a lot of locking up a little bit here from puffs of smoke from the Cupra Leon from Jake Hewlett. He's trying to do what he can, but again, look, you see the right rear smoking like a trooper as he goes on to the back stretch coming out of Williams. That's not going to be a good first sector for Jake Hewlett. That's a 1:04.5. Improvement by Trafford King. He goes with a 1:04.504 in the opening sector. He's just under 6/10 behind Haythwaite as we ride on board with the Cupra Leon of Jake Hewlett, as he's going to make his way through in towards Coram, following the bomb hole, and then it's going to be the left-hander here at Murray's. He's going to flick that car in, third gear, and then it's going to be up the gearbox and head towards the line. This is an outlap for Jake. Well, he goes 1:52.203 is his best lap. That was a 1:55.383. Improvement, however, by Trafford King. He's got that gap down to half a second. Good to see him representing the Team BMW clan as well, from the Colin Turkington days and Adam Morgan days from last year. Colin Turkington now looking to support Lewis, his son, who's running in Fiesta Juniors this year. Quite a big surprise when we found out the news from the man himself that he wasn't continuing with WSR for 2025. But it's opened up the opportunity for other drivers to make their presence known at WSR, but also the man who is the defending champion, Jake Hill, in the Laser Tools BMW. I'm really looking forward to seeing how things progress over the year so far, because just like BTCC in real life, there's no hybrid, and I'll be completely honest with you, I'd rather it be driver versus driver rather than having some artificial enhancement to try and conduce better racing.
Yeah, it's like DRS. I don't really know.
Exactly.
There's a lot of, Alex, to be honest, if we even touch on this subject, we might as well just ignore the racing and talk about it, because let's face it, it's a subject that people don't like having. You know, push to pass, DRS, anything that induces more speed coming from the car behind you when it isn't skill based. you know, look, give me a 4-speed gearbox on a manual shifter with Ayrton Senna behind the wheel, and that's when you can know who's a good racing driver. Other than that, there's too much. I think it's getting to the point now, as I said before, when I've spoken to, I think it was probably you, and I do as well, and when a team can make the engine play the national anthem, you know full well they can program that car to take each corner manually. And the driver just sits there and does the steering. The brakes, you know, the car can be tuned on its own. And that's the thing. I think it needs to be more back to basics. You know, Alpha 155, Renault Megane, Volvo Estate, Ford Mondeo days, when they literally had nothing apart from a steering wheel and a gear shifter. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's when the best times were, and I think I would like to see it go back to that. Let us know in YouTube chat as well what you think. Is there more technology in motor racing than there needs to be now? Is it more about the engineers behind the scenes and not the drivers? I think there was something ludicrous of 30-odd plus buttons on a Lewis Hamilton F1 wheel, which is just bonkers. What do you think? Should it just be a steering wheel, gear shifter, engine, car, and go for it there as well, and that's it? Should we get rid of DRS? Should we get rid of push to pass? Should we get rid of all the other technological, electronical advancements or enhancements, should we say, that allows the driver to use more than his driving skill to overtake somebody?
Yeah, and even with the fact that, you know, a lot of championships are saying that, well, it gives us a bit more of an environmental credibility. Yeah, well, you can do that through sustainable fuels, which is what BTCC and a variety of different championships are now doing, like the World Endurance Championship, European Le Mans Series, a lot of them now. We've had some people saying, we've got Doodalake saying, I call bid pack dying first. Jack A8952, turn 1 carnage incoming. Coming on to your point earlier on, what you said about the Focus, Lord Boss Gaming has come back and he said, it's funny saying about the Focus gave you the hardest drive. I tested all the other vehicles pre-season start and struggled with them all. Only Focus and Astra were the two cars I felt comfortable in. Well, like we said, you didn't need to take James's opinion verbatim. So you pick the Focus. If you're comfortable with that, we'll see you on a track very, very soon, Daryl, I'm sure. But we are coming to
don't even trust my philosophy, Daryl, right? I will say now, I commentate for a living. I don't drive very often, if at all. So please don't take my advice and not picking the Focus, all right?
That makes two of us. That makes two of us.
Me and Alex together, while you're doing one lap, we're still on the out one, all right? Or trying to work out. I couldn't even. I struggled that much yesterday. I could barely get the car moving coming out of the pits, which was even more amusing as well.
Oh.
So there was a lot going on in my poor little head yesterday, and my little Logitech G920 was not loving me at one point. I was like, "Why aren't you working? Stupid steering wheel!" And then realised it was
And then
me.
your brains are going. You now have the brains of a scrambled egg.
Yes.
Like, oh, great. It's like mush.
Absolutely. And at 47, mate, it definitely would have been a scrambled egg as well. So I was just like, I can't be dealing with this.
Yeah, there's so much that we have. We have to deal with a lot where we've got so many different screens and bits and pieces of information accessible to us. So in some ways, yeah, technology in the world of racing has advanced. But yeah, I think I'd be very interested to hear what you all have to say about the world of modern day motorsport. I mean, yeah, you've got to say that the engineers and the mechanics and everyone behind the scenes are truly the unsung heroes of every single team in every single championship. But we have hit zero on the timer in qualifying. Haythwaite is going to put it on pole with a 151.587. Ryan Turner at the moment, currently sitting down in 12th, needs to improve quite significantly from a 155 to 82. Here comes Haythwaite across the line. His last lap was a 156.511. Goes across the line, 151.761. So takes the checkered here in qualifying. Dave Price will start on the outside of row number 3. He's in pit lane. One ahead of the leading I-30 and fastbacks. That's Luke Woodhouse and the number 14. Lee Southall, Matthew Addy, Ben Gibbons will complete the top 10. So quite a few drivers still out there. Haythwaite is going to probably have to bring this in very shortly because that car has already taken the checkered, but a few of the drivers still out, still are in pit lane at the moment. Jake Hewlett, yeah, he's not good. It doesn't look like he's going to improve in the Cupra Leon. He's about to cross the stripe now. What's his lap time going to be? He did a 1:53.5 last time. And that was a 3:10, so that was pretty much an out lap on that particular occasion. But yeah, pretty much Ben Hayes in the Ford Focus ST is still circulating. He's just gone through sector 2 and has just pulled it into pit lane. So Haythwaite takes pole position for round 3 of the virtual racing circuit BTCC season here at Snetterton 300 by 0.335 of a second. And what's more, on Snetterton soil, it's going to be a Munich front row, courtesy of Trafford King. It's going to be Cupra versus Ford row 2 with Jake Hewlett and Ben Hayes. Chris McIntosh and Dave Price. That will be Focus versus Cupra on row 3. All Hyundai row 4 with Luke Woodhouse and Lee Southall. Matthew Addy and Ben Gibbons. That's Corolla versus Hyundai. They complete the top 10. Then Corolla versus Focus with Justin Kirk and Ryan Turner. Bozzy and Alex AJ will be lining up 13th and 14th, and Danny Hurst will be lining up in 15th position in the FK8 Honda Civic Type R. As they still are, well, oh dearie me, Jake Hewlett, 2 wheels sliding through into Nelson's, and he's decided to return it to the garage, and there we go. Qualifying completed for round 3.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how this one goes on as well. We have not got any Vauxhall Astras. I'd like to point out. I'm sure I thought Ryan Turner joined an Astra earlier on, but apparently no, he didn't. So there you go. Unfortunately, so we've got no Astras whatsoever. But then again, even in real life, there's only one. So,
especially if your name's Mikey Noble.
Yeah, he ran the Big Dreams Little Voices charity event with us. I met him last year at Thruxton.
Yep.
As well.
And he's also he's a proven race winner now in the BTCC.
Yeah.
Good man, Mikey.
Awesome.
So, right. Don't know what Jake is doing. We're waiting for the session to advance to the race itself. So it is going to be 12 laps of the 2.969 mile circuit here at Snetterton 300 for round 3 of the virtual racing circuit BTCC season. And you know what, I'm really looking forward to some good old rubbings racing, bit of old argy-bargy, or as you like to say, a bit of ta-ta-ta on the racetrack.
Oh yes, oh yes, love a good little ta-ta-ta. I have the banhammer waiting for any unruly behaviour. That's basically somebody who's going to use the hybrid system. Okay, if anybody uses the hybrid system, DQ'd. Bang.
You get a ban. You get a ban.
Yeah.
You're definitely qualified.
You're all banned. So there we go. But this one could be interesting. I'll see if anybody can overturn Mr. Hewlett, who's won the last 2 races, of course, at Donny and Croft. So we'll see how he gets on there as well. Haythwaite's been second, and Trafford King's grabbed himself a second as well through this championship. So we'll see if anybody can overturn Mr. Hewlett there. Rubbing is racing. It is, dear sir. Little bumper kissing doesn't hurt. Well, it does, Amy, if you push him into the grass. Just putting it out there. Just letting you know.
Yeet.
Yeah. Oh, forgot to brake a little bit. Boop. Off they go. So there you go. We'll have some punting to passes going on like we do up in NASCAR, which would be amazing to see here as well. But we are going to get this race up and running very, very shortly here, ladies and gentlemen, to hold on to your hats, because we will be going very, very shortly. There we go.
Yeah. So we got the just had a 2-minute countdown here for race 3 of the virtual racing circuit BTCC season here at Snetterton 300. It's an all BMW front row with Haythwaite on pole, Trafford King alongside. Then it's Jake Hewlett and Ben Hayes rounding out row 2. Chris McIntosh and Dave Price rounding out the top 3 rows with Luke Woodhouse, Lee Southall, and then we got Matthew Addy and Ben Gibbons rounding out the top 10. Justin Kirk, Ryan Turner, Bosey, AJ and Danny Hurst, rounding out your 15-strong grid here at Snetterton. So just around about 60 seconds away from getting things going. All the anticipation is so big you can cut through it with a hot knife through cold ice butter right now, Mr. Parfitt.
I do love Amy's comment. I'm on the edge of my seat. Well, bed.
Don't chew your fingernails to the quick either, Amy, while you're at it.
I can just imagine her sitting there with her legs crossed, with her toes up into her mouth because she's run out of fingernails. A bit rank, but I can just imagine it as well. So that could be quite interesting. Going be a good race. Great drivers in this championship. There is. I'll put the going to be a good race, Lord Moss, in there as well. I'd like to see that you've written some good England there once again.
Yeah, so the countdown, 20 seconds, and then when the red lights go on the gantry, it'll be revs up and then lights out for 12 laps. And it'll be the run down to riches for the first time. It will be about seeing how you can negotiate your way through this first lap. Will there be a turn one incident? Well, we could be very shortly from finding out because the red lights are on. Red lights are out. Good start by our pole sitter as Haythwaite leads Trafford King. Good start there by Ben Hayes in the Ford Focus. Jake Hewlett trying to go around the outside through into Riches as everyone tries to make it through. So far too wide, a little bit further back on the braking zone down into Wilson's. Three wide with a bit of elbows out. And Luke Woodhouse trying to get through on Lee Southall in the leading battle for the Hyundais as they go through into Palmer. Now it's the short run to Agastides. It's going to be hard on the brakes. You've got to really put the full lock on here as we run aboard with Jake Hewlett, who is now down to, who is in fourth as Ben Hayes has gotten past him on track in the car just in front. So this just goes to show that those BMWs got the launch off the line, but it was Haythwaite ahead of Trafford King. And it was easily done between the pair of the BMWs as Hewlett going all offensive on Ben Hayes for P3.
Oh, Hayes is going to have his work cut out here. He is going to have Hewlett climbing all over him like a baby picking fleas off his mother's monkey. I can tell you that much, because there he goes side by side. Hewlett does go through. Hayes goes down a position there. There was some drama further back, a little bit with Ryan Turner, Hurst and Bosey. I think had some form of drama in there with AJ, but apart from that, everybody seems to be making it through. Now this is going to be the first run here. How are they going to handle coming into Coram, into Murray's? Can the BMWs get this right? It's got to be an early lift of that free cone to make sure you get the rotation. But watch Hewlett come round the corner. Inna Leon just flicks it round. The focus of Hayes tucked in right behind him as well. So lots of action still to come. Southwell and Woodhouse have just swapped places. Woodhouse has actually got down the order. So I'm wondering whether or not he's had a little bit more drama, but now he's finding himself right in the mix at the moment here with Woodhouse, with McIntosh here as well, and they're going to be side by side into turn one. Oh, Woodhouse didn't make that inside line work. McIntosh managed to hold on.
That was a brilliant move round the outside at Riches, scraping paint off the doors off of that Hyundai. And now we're with Luke Woodhouse, who's got Matthew Addy in the leading Toyota Corolla GR Sport behind him. You can see a lot of locking up going into Palmer's. I think most notably from Jake Hewlett. He's not got that brake bias right on that Cupra layout at the moment, but still making it work. He's put the overall fastest third sector out of anybody. Oh, but a bit of a lock up there. That was from one of the other. That was Lee Southall.
Yeah, Southall made a mistake.
He made a big old error there going into Agostini. So again, just showcasing how tight the infield section at Snetterton 300 can be. Everyone is basically using the brakes as hard as they dare. There is a possibility that Dave Price might get through on Ben Hayes if the door is opened. And here we have Turner versus AJ versus Hurst. This could end very, very nastily. It all goes horribly wrong as they come out of Williams. It's going to be three wide. There was a touch from behind. As Bozzy, I think, got a biff from Ryan Turner as they go down the back straight away. Danny Hurst is watching this. He's running in the old Team Dynamics Honda livery. He goes round the outside of Noki, and they're straight off at Nelson.
Oh, there was 2 mistakes in. They're now going to run 3 wide round that final corner. Round through the bomb hole they go, down into Coram. These guys having a right little ding-dong there. And they're having a nice little battle. This is at the back. This is for the final 4 spots, 15th, 14th, 13th and 12th. Stunning racing all the way through. There's a mistake from Hurst. Oh, is he going to get AJ going to get him? No, because AJ followed him off as well. He had tunnel vision and followed him off the side of the circuit. So not only did he not get the overtake done, he also followed him. But now they're running side by side down into turn 1 as well. Hurst on the left-hand side of your screen in that black Halford liveried Civic there. And unfortunately, he does lose that position to AJ in the end.
That's got the old Robo stamp on it as well. Daniel Rowbottom now with Napa Racing, with the Cataclean sponsor showing quite clearly on the doors at the moment. But Jake Hewlett has put in the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:52.264. Gap between the top 3, 2 seconds. So Hewlett is making that Cupra Leon work amidst extreme braking circumstances here at Snet. So the Cupra Leon starting to come into its own, but look at the right rear, smoking like Mariella Frostrop on a good day at the moment. Too many Rothmans in the air there with that Cupra Leon, but he is still keeping Trafford King and Haythwaite very, very honest.
Yeah, absolutely. A great job there from Hewlett. He's doing rather well for himself. Hayes in behind, Price in behind that. Southfield, Woodhouse in there as well. Mr. Woodhouse recently just got P1 at the BRSCC Donington, as well as Time Attack second 2-wheel drive 2024 championship. I'm expecting good things. Well, he's sitting in 7th at the moment, and unfortunately for him, he's got Chris McIntosh, Manflu McIntosh, is sitting in 8th place at this moment in time as well. So old Manflu there did manage to take the lem sips, and off he's gone here.
Funnily enough, I was actually there for BRSCC Donington because Luke Woodhouse was running in the Golf GTI Club Sport in the BRSCC Pro Sport Sprint. Took both victories in an absolute weapon of a machine, which managed to do the business on Jazz Sapra in the F80 BMW M3 as we got side by side. McIntosh through on Luke Woodhouse through Wilson, so that was a good overtake there for P7, and they've got Matthew Addy just behind in the Toyota GR Club Sport. Oh, Woodhouse off the circuit. Oh, that was a code brown there, as we see just in front. Dave Price. Yeah, Southall, they're going into battle for P5. We're on lap 4 out of 12 at the moment, and the battles are raging up and down the order. It is 2 seconds again between the top 3 as we ride on board with Matthew Addy in the Toyota GR Sport NGTC car, closely following the Hyundai i30N fastback of Luke Woodhouse. Look at the amount of lean that car's got when he turns it right into Williams, and now down the backstretch heading in towards Brundle. This is going to be very, very close if Addy decides. Look at the closing rate of speed for the Toyota Corolla. Now into Brundle and Nelson's puff of smoke from the left rear of Woodhouse. Dulac goes the lead. Yes, the lead is definitely here for VRC British Touring Car Championship action as they go through the bomb hole into Coram and then into Murray's. And still the battle up ahead. Lee Southall and Dave Price having a great old battle royale between the two of them for 5th place. Meantime, still, Haythwaite leads, Trafford King in 2nd, Jake Hewlett holding on to P3 at the moment, and that gap really hasn't changed that much. No,
definitely hasn't as well. Got some interesting facts about Trafford King that he sent me through, which is quite nice as well. Current racing driver competing in the Tigua Type R Trophy in IRL, currently leading the championship after bagging a couple of wins and 2/3 new lap records of the season. 2023 750 Motor Club Type R Trophy Novice Champion, relatively new to competing in sim racing after getting a PC in 2023, believe it or not. 2024 750 MC Winter Sim Champion, 2025 750 MC Winter Sim runner-up to Jake Hewlett as well. So him and Hewlett have been together a couple of times in championship as well. But Trafford, aged 30, and is currently residing in the wonderful town of York.
Oh, lovely.
So there we go.
There's a CV for you, folks. It just goes to show that when you get grabbed by the scruff of the neck saying, come and have a look at what this sim racing lark's about, you'll have a bit of fun. And plus it means you don't have to worry about invoices after every race meeting, which is the big thing. Another lock up there from Jake Hewlett going through into Nelson's again. It just seems to be his tactic, because he's, you know, when you've got these BMWs, you're not seeing really any brakes being put under significant pressure for Haythwaite and also Trafford King. But Jake Hewlett, you can see the right rear is where all the smoke is coming from on that Coupe Leon, but he's still keeping them very, very honest indeed. We now go on to lap 6 out of 12, and Haythwaite leads King by a second. Hewlett a further 2.5 seconds behind, so the BMW's starting to stretch their legs, but as we all know in BTCC action here, JP, that the BMWs, their rear-wheel drive, those rear tyres will start going off a cliff very shortly.
Yeah, that's the thing, they need to be managed, and you can see there Woodhouse literally giving that I-30 some big old lean on the car and really making it work its absolute butt off to try and get a hold of McIntosh there. And this is the interesting thing for me. Tyre conservation, you wouldn't think over 12 laps it would make a massive difference, but it does. And if you are absolutely throttling the tyres, by between 6 you're going to feel a difference, 8 you're going to be definitely struggling, 10 you're going to be like Bambi on ice, and come to 12, well, you're going to be lucky if you can get the car to the end. So they've got to be a little bit more sensible here at the same time. Woodhouse, McIntosh, they've been going at it hammer and tong all the way through. Bosey, Turner, AJ and Hurst are another group of 4 that have been battling away. Southall, Price. So at some point there's going to be a massive disparity on who's managed to hold their tyres and who hasn't managed to hold your tyres. As you say, BMWs, rear wheel drives, this is the thing as well. They've got to make sure that they're maintaining it. Don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure King, Hewlett, maybe Haythwaite know what they're doing, right? They're not leading the race because they're slackers and they're newbies to sim racing. They know what they're doing. But that's the thing, they've just got to maintain. And you can see, you can just look at Hewlett on what's coming out of his rear end. And there is a hell of a lot of smoke coming out pretty much most corners. Now watch the BMWs. There's been very, very little. Straight away, there you go, nothing. Then we'll keep an eye on Hewlett. Bang, smoking like he's in a vape shop filled up with young kids, you know, and that's the thing for him at this moment in time.
Over the age of 16, of course.
Over the age of 16, right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, don't smoke kids blown up over the age of 16. But you know what I mean? That's exactly the thing. He's got so much coming out of his car, and there's nothing coming out of Haythwaite and King's machines. I'm sorry if any under 16s are watching. Please don't vape. Okay,
you know what? That was the way you tied that sentence was absolutely perfect. Me with my little addition to that as well. It was like, there we go. Right, here's one bit, and here's the other bit coming straight. It's like, Timmy, to you.
Straight back out there.
But yeah, Dulake saying, dragging that rear, it's fine. Yeah, well, yeah, but the thing is that you're going to do more damage to the right rear tyre doing that by probably trail braking quite a bit, or unless he's having to use the e-brake a little as well, just to rotate that back end of that Coupe Leon around, because it's not easy here, you know, through Thruxton. I hate to think how the Coupe Leon's going to handle, because the BMW is going to be the force majeure at that particular circuit. And there you see again big smoke coming from the back of Jake Hewlett going through into Nelson's before the approach into the bomb hole, where you've got that indentation, and then side by side Southall and Price. Oh my goodness, Price diving to the inside through Nelson's on the run down the bomb hole.
Hayes and Southall.
Oh my goodness me, that was so close. Southall nearly ended up at the back end of Hayes.
Yeah.
How he caught that and kept it well held.
Yeah.
Because this one is going to be, I think, right to the end of the line. We're about to go on to lap 9 out of 12, so 4 to go. And here comes
he's
Southall
giving him the
on
inside.
the right-hand side and into Riches. The I-30's going to have the inside in the racing line, and through goes Southall. Trail brake smoke whilst you're at it. Here comes Hayes back at him. Southall runs wide, coming out of Riches into Wilson's. Hayes retakes fourth. Great squabble, but Southall not done yet. He's back through.
They made a mistake. Hayes made a mistake on the run through there as well. And unfortunately for him, he did lose out that position again. Southall managed just to get him back. And this is the thing. This battle is going to be roller coastering all the way through to the end of this race. Coming into the left-hander now of Agostini. You can see Southfield still there. Hayes holding on behind him at the moment. Price trying to catch back up. He's trying to stay ahead of Woodhouse, who's coming at him. McIntosh has gone down. He's lost positions to Addy at the same time. So these guys are going to continue this fight. And above this, Hewlett and King and Hathwaite are not really doing anything. They haven't really changed position all the way through. Hathwaite leading, King in second, Hewlett third. But the action from 4th to 15th has been absolutely barnstorming. And you can see now, Hayes is there again. He's tucked in right behind Southfield, not getting a massive amount of drive. Don't get me wrong, these aren't open wheelers. They're not aerodynamic like GTPs and LMP2s and LMP3s. You know, they are a little bit more bulky. Some may say they're house bricks on wheels, but they have got some pace in them. They are nimble here as well. And if you don't believe how nimble they are, just have a look on board what Ben Hayes is going to do, flicking this focus around into the left-hander as well. And you can see at the same time, he's trying to get a better run. He did get a better run. It's going to be that run down the start-finish straight now as well. Is he going to be able to close in? Biggest mistake Hayes did on that last lap, Alex, gave up the inside. And that was it then. Southall didn't need any second invite. He said, well, if you're going to leave the door open, son, I'm going to come burgle that position away.
Yeah, I mean, even with the trail braking, it's not affecting the performance out on track.
Oh, he's going to send it.
Inside at Wilson's, and he goes through, but is he going to make the same mistake on the outside? No, he keeps it. Wheels pin, throttle down, 2 wheels on the grass, stumbles his way through at Wilson's, now through into Palmer, and he's kept out of Southall. Now, whilst this is happening, just behind them, Dave Price in the second of the Cupra Leons is closing in. Just behind him is Luke Woodhouse. Chris McIntosh has been dropped to the tune of about 2 seconds. Currently runs P8 ahead of Matthew Addy and Justin Cook, the 2 Corolla GR Sports. As again, we ride on board with Lee Southall just behind Ben Hayes as they are really making their way through Oggies now into Williams. And again, that trail braking doesn't seem to affect the performance, but it's bringing a lot of smoke into the peripheral visibility. So it's just a case of making the best of what you've got at the moment. So after this, we'll have 3 more laps to go as Woodhouse going towards the outside of Price into Brundle. He's going to throw it to the outside, hard of the brakes into Nelson. Woodhouse gets through, 2 wheels on the sausage curb. That was inspired, but he's going to lose the place again to Dave Price, who was round the outside going through into the bomb hole. Yeah,
absolutely. And stellar job there from Woodhouse. He knew what he had to do. He just couldn't quite hold it. And that's the thing at the moment. Price managed to come back through on him. But again, watch the runs coming out here. This is where the main situation's got to be coming from for Woodhouse as well. If Price leaves the door open, he's going to go through, he's going to take it. It's fairly straightforward and fairly obvious on how this is going to work. So for Price, he's got to make sure he's putting that car in the right position. Smoke plenty at this moment in time from everybody. A little bit further back, they've started to spread out with Gibbons, Turner, Bosey and AJ and Hurst. But it's here, you can see Woodhouse has just gone through. He's then gone and run a little bit in deep. He did the same thing that Hayes did over Southall. Woodhouse has managed to hold it now. Southall and Hayes are still as they are as well. So this is going to be a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th battle right the way down to the end of the race.
Yeah, Woodhouse and Price are going to be very, very careful because Chris McIntosh and Matthew Addy aren't actually that far behind them. Between Price and Addy, there's about 2 seconds of differential. A bit of a moment there for Lee Southall in the leading I-30. He's trying to get back on terms with Ben Hayes for the top step outside of the top 3 as they go out of Williams. And again, Southall lighting up the rear, that's lighting up the tyres and using as much of the track as he dare, which includes the slight dusty runoff through the exit of Williams. But Chris McIntosh is not that far. Look, he's not that far at all now. And there is Matthew Addy. So it's going to become a 4-horse race.
Oh, no, it's not.
Position, but Addy just went straight on.
Addy's
straight
gone.
On at Nelson's.
Yeah.
Oh dear. That is not exactly what you wanted at that particular point. And well, that's going to give Justin Kirk the opportunity to get through on the sister GR Sport Toyota Corolla, an opportunity to get through for 9th. 2 laps remaining, and Haythwaite leads, but the gap is coming down between him and Trafford King. It's about 7.5 tenths of a second. Jake Hewlett is Jakey no mates at the moment because he's 8 seconds behind at the minute, and then it's a further 13 back to Ben Hayes, battling away with Luke Southall at the moment for that 4th spot. Luke Woodhouse in the next of the Hyundai i30s behind Lee Southall, rounding out the top 6. Then it's Dave Price, Chris McIntosh, Matthew Addy, Justin Kirk, Ben Gibbons, Ryan Turner, Bozzy and Alex J, with Danny Hurst rounding out the 15. All of them are still out on the circuit at the moment. But it's more to the point of who is going to come out as top dog at the moment. It's going to be Haythwaite, which means when you think about it, we will be looking at effectively 2 different race winners. So we were waiting until the deadlock of Jake Hewlett's win streak, both at Croft and Donington National. We are about a lap and a bit away from that streak being broken, not by a front-wheel drive car, but more to the point, a car that's really suited to this track and has been absolute putty in the hands of both Haythwaite and Trafford King. And the top 4 look to finish as they did in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what, Dudek, as well? You said tyre wear. What's that? One of the people that has got that is Price. He has gone backwards quicker than he's going forwards. There's an incident there as well. I'm not quite sure what Southfield got himself. Is he out of fuel?
Possibly. Oh, or unless.
No.
No, he's back up to speed. So whether he's had a big old problem. But who's that behind him? Matthew Addy going off the circuit. So we're now on to the final lap of this race as Haythwaite at the moment is making his way through out of Palmer's. But look, Trafford King is closing in hand over fist. He's only got this lap to try and put a move on the car in front. So it will be a BMW that could be picking up the victory. But which one? More to the point, Haythwaite has led every single lap of this race so far, and Trafford King has kept him very, very honest. Trafford King currently 6th in the standings. Haythwaite 2nd behind Jake Hewlett as they now make their way through Adam Williams. It's down the back stretch for the final time, down the Hewlett straight, and then it's the run through into Brundle, Nelson, the bomb hole, Coram, and then Murray's, and then that's it. The race is done. But Haythwaite has got to hold on, make the back end of that 330 BMW M Sport as wide as humanly possible. Through into Nelson's for the final time. It's a car length and a half between them as they go into the bomb hole here on lap number 12 out of 12. And this could be an opportunity. Can Trafford King get the run on Haythwaite as we go through Coram for the last time into Murray's? It's now or never for Trafford King. Can he get the run on Haythwaite? It's the run out of the final corner. It's going to be a run to the line. And it's going to be your new race winner this season. It's going to be Haythwaite. Haythwaite takes it. Haythwaite takes it by just over 2 tenths.
Yeah, he does there as well. We've got McIntosh and Price coming through as well. They're going too wide into the bomb hole. Now trying to come round Coram at the same time here. McIntosh did manage to hold on there, as did Hayes and Woodhouse, but it's going to be here as well. They've got the run down. Don't forget, it's not an end of the finishing line. It's not there. It's still further down. Can Price even remotely try and get hold of McIntosh here? I think he's going to be too far back. I don't think this is going to be possible. Addy and Southall were on the run down to the line. Addy tucked in behind Southall there as well. Not quite sure what happened to Southall as he's now up and running again. I don't know if Addy's going to be overly impressed that if he come back on track and got in front of him, that might be a little bit of a conversation they'll have after. But Gibbons, Turner, Bosey, AJ all coming over the line, and Danny Hurst as well. So a great job from all of these guys. I love this. This is absolutely amazing. We need these cars in other simulators, iRacing.
Well, there is also a mod in R32.
R32, yeah. They've got mods as well.
Yep.
But yeah, I think there is a simulator that could benefit from a massive TCR update, and I think this would be the way to go. So there we go. But great racing overall here as well.
Yeah.
Are we going to see donuts?
Well, we would do, definitely. Amy goes, nearly spat my monster out in capital letters.
Is that in conjunction with anything we've said, or is that something about Southall parking it on the side of the road?
I think it's probably energy drink. At this time of day?
Oh no, I mean, why did she go? Why did she nearly spit it out?
Not too sure. Not too sure, but yeah, Lord Moss Gaming is in agreement with you, good sir. But Haythwaite becomes our second different race winner. So, Jake Hewlett, you got some work to do going into Thruxton next week on June 20th, next Friday. But, well, Haythwaite did the business, and it was a BMW 1-2, exactly as it finished in qualifying earlier on. Jake Hewlett rounds out the top three with Ben Hayes holding on to fourth position. That was just what we needed. We needed an injection of life, and the virtual racing circuit BTCC season is here on JPB with a bang, folks, here at Snet.
Yeah, don't forget, join us for the other races this season as well. Thruxton. Oh my God, I'm so looking forward to that. Alton Park, Silverstone, Brands Hatch, and the final race. I will check if we can expose the final race before I say anything with Mr. Woodhouse.
There is a poll. I think there's a poll ongoing at the moment.
Yeah, there is. So we'll find out on that one. But that was absolutely stunning racing. Not quite sure if we're going to get any of the guys in for a little bit of a chat with us here. But yeah, stunning race from all of them. I think that was absolutely incredible. So fair play to everyone.
Danny Cross has just quoted Jordan. Yeah, Hewlett looks like he's in a vape shop with young kids. Race Commentator 2025.
Don't know what you mean, Danny. Danny, you have no proof. If you did, nobody heard it. Stop it. You know what though? If I just sat back and grabbed everybody who's all of a sudden quoted me from different races and broadcasts, I think that the whole of the JPB team would be in trouble. I think we could have just a one whole hour-long broadcast with quotes coming out of all of us at some point. Right. There we go.
Lee Southall has just admitted he's saying was loving that scrap, Ben Hayes, until his pedals disconnected. Absolutely gutted. So he had a disconnect with the pedals, which then reinitialized, and then he got going again. So, well, what can you say about the opening live broadcast for the virtual racing British Touring Car Championship here at Snetterton 300? And it is a win for Haythwaite. So, Jake Hewlett, you've got to come fighting back tooth and nail at Thruxton next week. We'll give it another moment or two, just in case anyone doesn't want to have a chat with us. But I think everyone's just having a bit of a chinwag post the race itself. But Thruxton next week, JP, the fastest circuit on the UK. That is going to be even better. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be around for that one, folks. I've got other commitments, but I'm going to watch the replay before I come back at Alton and see how that one pans out. But, well, this is what we needed on this network. A Tin Top series like this. Well, actually, funny enough, he's just jumped in. So has our second place driver, along with Luke Woodhouse as well, who did pretty well in that race. So
we're gonna have to go down there.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I can't move. Yes, we're gonna have to jump down, but obviously we'll just let them know. Right, gentlemen, just to let you know as well, you all are in the booth together. We are not able to move people at this moment in time. I'm sure it will be corrected. So we're going to do it in 1, 2, 1, 2 first, and then Luke will have a chat with you after. So Alex, if you want to take Haythwaite first, and then we'll do and have a chat with Trafford after that.
Yeah. So Haythwaite, lights out to checkered here at Snetterton. You've finally broken Jake Hewlett's winning streak here in VRC British Touring Car Championship. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a bit bittersweet, really. I was saying to Traff at the end of the race that I think if he was on home soil and not, doing big boy racing, he would have been either a lot closer or, as the track record goes, a lot further ahead. So it's nice to have won, but it's a bittersweet win at the same time.
But still, nevertheless, you and Traffic King got off the line pretty quickly, as we know, with the BMWs. Did you feel that the tyres were going off a little bit towards the end of the race? Because the cars looked pretty stable, whereas everyone else, we were seeing a lot of trail braking going through a lot of the corners.
Yeah, towards lap 9 or 10, they started to taper off. A lot of the kind of distance in braking and trail braking that I was doing before became a lot more dangerous. The back end wanted to go a lot more. I think one of the big ones was kind of the complete loss of traction I had coming onto the back straight on lap 10. Traff gained a lot of time on me on that back straight, and I really started to sweat. And I mean, as you saw towards the end of it, he was catching up quite quickly.
But still, nevertheless, a win's a win. So congratulations. Thruxton next week. That's going to be one where I think the BMWs could be definitely a force to be reckoned with. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think it'll be definitely an interesting one. Especially with the lot of right-handers, and especially coming into the final sector of it, I think the back end could be quite squirrely. On the brakes, the Beamer is quite a scary car, so it should be interesting.
Well, congrats on the win. Good luck for Thruxton next week. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
My fiance, for threatening me with not cooking tea if I lose. So when I'm a hungry person and I want food, I guess.
Was that?
Yeah. So
that was right at the beginning of the broadcast as well. I think if you lose, Josh, I ain't cooking. Says Amy.
Yeah, that was my loving fiance telling me if I don't win, I'm starving tonight.
Get a takeout, mate. It's easier, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it really lit a fire under me.
Yeah, well, there you go. Proof is in the pudding. You took the win, so well done, and good luck at Thruxton for round 4 of the series.
Thank you very much. Thank you for broadcasting as well. I look forward to looking back at it.
Brilliant. Next up, we got Traffic King with us. Traffic, are you with us, buddy?
I am. I'm here.
Well, a BMW 1-2. You did. I mean, yeah, Josh did have a little bit of a scary moment, and you got to within half a second, but it was not close enough at the end of the day. But it still brought home a BMW 1-2 between the pair of you.
Yeah, it got close at end there. I had a couple of moments, just trying to reel him in a tiniest little bit. We kept trading fast laps, sort of a 10th here and there, and then I just thought I'll have to properly push on these last few laps now. Obviously, it wasn't enough.
But still, there's plenty of opportunity in this series for you to get at least one victory. I mean, we've got Thruxton next time out, the fastest circuit in the UK. How do you fancy your chances in the Beamer there?
I do like Thruxton, but I've only done it in front-wheel drive stuff on a sim, so we'll see how we get on. But I think this BM's good. It sort of struggles a little bit with the slower stuff, so I was actually quite surprised that it was quick around Snetterton. But yeah, the Thruxton should be a laugh.
Brilliant. Well, well done on the second place tonight. Who'd you like to give a shout out to?
To be fair, Jake for letting us win. And no, my in real life racing sponsors that help me out every weekend. All my family and friends that come to watch, DH Racing, Torco, Nimbus Motorsport, they all help me out. So yeah, it's them really.
Brilliant. Well, well done on the second place. We'll see you next up for a halfway point of the season at round 4 for Thruxton.
Thank you very much.
Okay, last but by certainly no means least, a man who was definitely having his elbows out, Luke Woodhouse, a man who I remember from last week winning the BRSCC Pro Sport Sprint Series in that fantastic area motorsport Golf GTI Club Sport. Well, you definitely were in the wars, weren't you, Luke? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the strongest race of mine. Yeah, just didn't get as much practice as I needed to, as much as I wanted to. Yeah, struggled with some stuff on the game that I probably hadn't set up right, just audio issues. But no, it's a great overall race. It's good to see everyone racing cleanly. Everyone, just a good battling at the top. Obviously with Jake, Josh, Ben tracking. It's a really competitive grid. So I'm just glad that, at the end of the day, I'm glad that that's there.
Did he cut out? Luke, you there?
Hello?
Oh.
Oh, yeah, there you are.
Did you hear any of that or not?
Right near the end, mate, you cut out, I think.
Yeah.
Oh. Don't say it again.
Yeah, go for it.
But, yeah, I mean, yeah, not one of the strongest rounds from me. Just didn't get the practice I wanted to. Needed to probably put a little bit more time into it. But no, I'm just glad that there's such strong competition with obviously Josh, Jake, all the top 4, top 5 really. It's really good battling. So I'm just glad that that's there.
No, that's awesome, and also it gives you plenty of practice ahead of your IRL racing and that wonderful golf GTI club sport that either myself and Scott Woodwis had the pleasure of watching in action last weekend at Donington. So hopefully we'll see you either on a podium or maybe a little bit higher up than that, Luke, later on in the season. But well done on that great battling here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and thanks to both of you guys for doing the stream. It looks really good. I'll have to give it a good watch back later and go over it all.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Luke Woodhouse. And that really wraps up all our interviews. So, JP, final words to close off before we end things here for the Virtual Circuit Racing BTCC Round 3 at Snet and await next round at Thruxton next week.
Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I am going to have a thoroughly great enjoyment of Thruxton, my home circuit, literally 45 minutes up the road from my house. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm going to love this series. I've been dying for tin tops on JPB for absolutely ages, especially the BTC from obviously the British Touring Car series, not the American Touring Car or Brazilian Touring Car, but from the BTC. So I think this is going to be absolutely amazing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Thruxton.
So, well, that's it for live coverage of the Virtual Circuit Racing Round 3 BTCC here at Snetterton 300. Join us, same place, same time, next week on June the 20th, when we head to the fastest circuit in the United Kingdom as Thruxton awaits. You joined myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and James Parfitt. This has been a JP Broadcasting Network production. And as always, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, well, you better go flat out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night for now.